Hello, I'm Dr. Robert Clark. For over 30 years, I've had the privilege of sitting with thousands of seniors, much like you, in the days and weeks after one of life's most frightening events, a heart attack. The first question I almost always hear is filled with fear. Doctor, is my life over? Let me answer that right now, with all the certainty of my 3 decades in medicine. Absolutely not. In fact, for many, this becomes the start of a new, healthier chapter. A heart attack is a terrifying, life-altering event. There is no denying that. It's a warning shot from your body that things must change. But it is not a death sentence. The reassuring truth is that most seniors recover and go on to lead full, vibrant lives. Your recovery timeline could be anywhere from a few weeks to a few months, and with the right guidance, you can navigate it successfully. Today, I want to be your guide on that journey. We're going to walk this road together, step by step. This isn't just about the medicine or the physical therapy at US, about your complete recovery. Body, mind, and spirit. We'll talk about what to expect, the food that will rebuild your heart, the exercises that will make it stronger, and, perhaps most importantly, how to handle the fear and anxiety that often come along for the ride. I remember a patient of mine. Let's call her Eleanor. She was 72, a passionate gardener, and after her heart attack she was terrified to even bend down to pull a weed, fearing it would trigger another event. She felt her greatest joy had been stolen from her. We worked together, slowly and patiently. We started with just sitting in her garden for 5 minutes a day. Then, walking to the end of the garden path. Then, using a small stool to tend to one potted plant. 6 months later, she sent me a picture of a basket overflowing with tomatoes she had grown herself. Her smile in that photo was brighter than any I'd seen before. That is the kind of recovery that is possible for you. Your story will be unique, but the potential for a joyful, active life remains. So please, as we go through this guide, share your own experiences and questions in the comments below. Your journey could be the very thing that gives hope to someone else watching this today. Let's begin. The first step in any successful journey is understanding the map. Your recovery is no different. It's not a single event, but a series of phases, each with its own purpose and pace. Trying to rush it is like trying to build a house without letting the foundations set. It's simply not safe. Let's think of your heart attack like a sudden storm that has damaged a part of your home. The recovery process is not about quickly patching the hole in the wall, it is about carefully rebuilding that section to be stronger and more resilient than it was before. This process happens in 4 distinct phases. The first phase is your hospital stay, which typically lasts from a couple of days to a week. Think of this as the emergency response. The firefighters have put out the fire, and now the inspectors and engineers are on site. The focus here is on stabilization. Your medical team is monitoring your heart's rhythm, managing your blood pressure, controlling any pain, and running tests to fully assess the extent of the damage. They are creating the blueprint for your repair. Your job in this phase is the hardest one for many active seniors, to simply rest. You must allow your heart muscle, which is injured, the quiet time it needs to begin healing. Next comes Phase 2, early home recovery. This usually covers the first 2 to 12 weeks after you leave the hospital. The emergency crew is gone, and you're back in your own space. This is often the most challenging phase, both physically and emotionally. You might feel weak, tired, and a bit overwhelmed. This is where the initial, gentle cleanup and repair work begins. It's about slowly re-engaging with daily life, walking to the mailbox, making a simple meal. This period is absolutely critical for establishing new, heart-healthy habits in a safe environment. I had a patient, let's call him John, a retired carpenter who was fiercely independent. 2 weeks after his heart attack, he felt pretty good and decided to mow his large lawn on a hot summer afternoon, just like he always had. He ended up back in the emergency room with chest pains and severe fatigue. Thankfully, it wasn't another heart attack, but his body sent a very clear message. Not yet. John learned that recovery operates on the body's timeline, not our own. We must respect that. Phase 3 is cardiac rehabilitation, which can last from 2 to 8 months. This is when you bring in the expert contractors. Cardiac rehab is a medically supervised program designed to get you back on your feet safely. It's a team effort involving doctors, nurses, exercise physiologists, and dietitians, all focused on you. You'll exercise in a safe environment while connected to heart monitors, which is incredibly reassuring. It takes the fear out of physical activity. But it's more than just exercise, it's an education. You learn about nutrition, stress management, and your medications. Completing a cardiac rehab program is one of the most important things you can do. It is proven to reduce the risk of a future fatal heart event by up to 25%. Finally, we have Phase 4, lifelong maintenance. This is for the rest of your life. The house is rebuilt, stronger than before. Now you maintain it. This means integrating all the lessons you've learned into your daily existence. It's taking your medications without fail, making that daily walk a non-negotiable part of your routine, and choosing foods that nourish your heart. For seniors, it's vital to understand that your journey may be different. If you are also managing conditions like diabetes, arthritis, or hypertension, your body is doing more work and your timeline might be longer. That is perfectly okay. This is not a race. Your journey is your own. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. What phase of recovery are you in right now? And what is one small victory you have celebrated this week? Please share it below. Now that we understand the map of your recovery, let's talk about the engine that will drive you forward: your body. Rebuilding your physical strength after a heart attack is a gradual process, and it must be done with care, wisdom, and patience. The absolute gold standard for this is a cardiac rehabilitation program. I cannot stress this enough. We know that patients who complete cardiac rehab are up to 25% less likely to have a fatal heart attack in the future. Why? Because it's a powerful combination of 3 things: medically supervised exercise, expert education, and crucial emotional support. It's where you learn to trust your body again, with a safety net of professionals right there with you. But what does that exercise actually look like? It begins far more gently than you might imagine. In the first few weeks, your gym might be your favorite armchair. It starts with simple seated movements designed to get your blood flowing without straining your healing heart. Let's try one together right now. Sit up straight in your chair, feet flat on the floor. Now, just march your feet in place. Lift one knee, then the other. Gently. That's it. You're doing it. Another great one is a seated leg lift. Hold on to the sides of your chair and slowly extend one leg out straight. Hold for a second and slowly bring it back down. These small movements prevent blood clots and begin to combat the muscle weakness that comes from bed rest. Once your doctor gives you the green light, you will graduate to the undisputed champion of heart recovery: walking. Walking is truly medicine. But you must start low and go slow. Your first walk might only be 5 minutes on a flat, level surface, like down your hallway or to the end of your driveway. The key is to use the talk test. While you are walking, you should be able to carry on a light conversation. If you are too breathless to speak comfortably, you are pushing too hard. It's that simple. Your goal is consistency, not intensity. A slow, 15-minute walk every single day is infinitely better for your healing heart than a difficult hour-long walk once a week that leaves you exhausted and sore. As you do this, you must become a student of your own body, learning to listen to its signals. Your doctor will likely give you a target heart rate zone for exercise. You can learn to take your pulse on your wrist or neck to make sure you're in that safe, effective zone. Many seniors also have a home blood pressure cuff, which is a fantastic tool for tracking your progress. But most importantly, you must learn the red flags. These are signals from your body that mean stop immediately. They include any return of chest pain or pressure, unusual shortness of breath that feels out of proportion to your effort, dizziness, lightheadedness, or a fluttering, racing feeling in your chest. These are not things to push through. They are non-negotiable stop signs. You stop what you are doing and you call your doctor or 911. For many, technology can be a wonderful partner in this. I had a patient, Susan, who was so filled with anxiety after her heart attack that she was afraid to walk to her own mailbox. We set her up with a simple smartwatch that tracked her heart rate. Being able to glance at her wrist and see that her heart rate was in a safe, steady range was the proof she needed to quiet that voice of fear in her head. It was empowering. She knew she wasn't just guessing, she had data. It gave her the confidence to slowly expand her world again, one walk at a time. Physical recovery is a gentle dance between movement and rest. Be kind to yourself, be consistent, and celebrate the small progress you make each day. If exercise is the engine that drives your recovery, then the food you eat is the clean, high-quality fuel that makes it all run smoothly. I want you to start thinking of your kitchen as your personal pharmacy, and your meals as medicine for your heart. Because in a very real sense, that's what they are. Every bite you take can either help heal your body or add to its burden. The changes you need to make are not about deprivation. They are about making smart, powerful choices. Let's think of your arteries as the plumbing in your house. Before the heart attack, perhaps some sticky, unhealthy fats and inflammation, like sludge, had started to build up, narrowing the pipes. Our goal now is to stop putting sludge into the system and start using foods that help keep the pipes clean and clear. So, what does this heart-healing fuel look like? First, I want you to paint your plate with color. The deep reds of berries and tomatoes, the vibrant greens of spinach and broccoli, the rich orange of carrots and sweet potatoes. These colors come from compounds called antioxidants, which act like a calming force inside your arteries, reducing the inflammation that contributes to plaque buildup. Next, embrace whole grains, things like oatmeal, brown rice, and whole wheat bread. Unlike white bread, which burns like flash paper and can spike your blood sugar, these are slow-burning logs that provide steady energy. And of course, lean proteins are your friends. Fish, especially salmon and tuna, are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are like a natural lubricant for your cardiovascular system, helping to lower blood pressure and reduce inflammation. Just as important is what we limit. The primary villain here is excess salt, or sodium. Salt makes your body retain water. This extra water increases the volume of blood in your bloodstream. Imagine trying to force twice the amount of water through your garden hose. The pressure builds up. That's exactly what excess sodium does to your arteries, day in and day out. It forces your already damaged heart to pump against higher pressure. This is why you must become a detective, reading labels on canned soups, frozen dinners, and sauces, where salt hides in shocking amounts. The other things to limit are saturated and trans fats, found in fried foods, fatty cuts of meat, and commercially baked goods. These are the primary ingredients of that dangerous arterial sludge. I had a patient, Bill, a wonderful man who told me the hardest part of this new diet was giving up his favorite football-watching snacks, a big bowl of salty pretzels and peanuts. It felt like a punishment. We worked together, not to eliminate, but to substitute. We found unsalted nuts and baked pretzel thins. He started making air-popped popcorn and seasoning it with garlic powder and smoked paprika instead of salt. He still got to enjoy his crunchy snacks during the game, but he slashed his sodium intake by over 80%. Small, intelligent swaps are the secret to long-term success. Finally, it's not just what you eat, but how you eat. There are several post-meal habits that can be particularly dangerous after a heart attack. First, don't lie down immediately after a large meal. It can cause acid reflux, and the symptoms, chest tightness and burning, can feel terrifyingly similar to heart pain, causing unnecessary anxiety. Second, avoid strenuous activity right after eating. A gentle walk is fine, but vigorous work diverts blood away from your digestive system, placing a strain on your body. And third, avoid stressful conversations at the dinner table. Arguing raises your blood pressure and heart rate, interfering with the calm rest and digest state your body needs. Every meal is an opportunity to make a choice that serves your health. You don't have to be perfect overnight, you just have to be mindful. We have talked about the physical mechanics of recovery and the fuel you put into your body. But now, we must address what is often the most difficult part of this journey: the recovery of your mind and spirit. A heart attack is not just a physical event. It is a profound emotional trauma. It fundamentally shakes your sense of safety in the world and confronts you with your own mortality. It is therefore completely, 100% normal to feel a powerful mix of emotions in its wake: fear, anxiety, sadness, irritability, even depression. If you are feeling this way, I need you to hear me very clearly. You are not alone. Statistics show that up to 1 in 3 heart attack survivors will experience significant symptoms of depression. This is not a sign of some personal failing or weakness of character. It is a predictable physiological response to trauma. Your body has been through a major ordeal, and your nervous system can get stuck in high alert mode, flooded with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your brain is trying to protect you from future threats, but in doing so, it can create a constant state of anxiety. Acknowledging that this is a medical issue, not a moral one, is the first and most important step toward healing it. So, where do you turn for help? The good news is that there are incredible support systems available. Your cardiac rehab program, for instance, isn't just about treadmills. Most programs have counselors on staff who specialize in the unique psychological challenges faced by heart patients. They understand your fears because they have helped hundreds of people through them. I also strongly encourage you to seek out a support group, either online or in your community. It is one thing for me, your doctor, to tell you that you will be able to enjoy life again. It is another thing entirely to hear it from someone who was sitting exactly where you are 6 months ago and is now back to playing golf or enjoying their grandchildren. Shared experience is incredibly powerful medicine. There are also tools you can use yourself, starting today. One of the most effective is simple, conscious breathing. When we are anxious, our breathing becomes shallow and rapid. By deliberately slowing it down, you send a direct signal to your brain that the danger has passed. Let's try it. It's called box breathing. I want you to gently breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold that breath for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, slowly exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, hold the breath out for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just a few rounds of this can make a remarkable difference. Family communication is also key. I remember my patient, Margaret. She told me her biggest source of stress wasn't her heart, it was her loving family. They hovered over her constantly, meaning well, but making her feel like a fragile object in her own home. She felt like a burden. We worked together on a new way to communicate. She learned to say, "I appreciate your concern so much. What would really help me is if you could let me try this myself while you're nearby." Her family learned to ask, "What do you feel up to today?" instead of saying, "Don't do that." It restored her sense of agency, which was vital for her emotional recovery. Please do not suffer in silence. Asking for help with your mental health is as critical as taking your blood pressure medication. You deserve to feel whole again. Healing your heart and your mind is not something you do in isolation. It requires building a team and creating a daily playbook for long-term success. Let's talk about the practical resources you can lean on and the strategies that will turn your new healthy habits into an automatic part of your life. Your first, most crucial step is to advocate for yourself. I'm going to tell you a shocking fact. A significant number of seniors who are eligible for cardiac rehabilitation are never actually referred to a program by their doctors. You may have to ask for it, and I want you to do so with confidence. Walk into your doctor's office, look them in the eye, and say, "I want a referral for cardiac rehabilitation." It is a critical, life-saving component of your care, and you have a right to it. Beyond your medical team, there are wonderful organizations ready to help. The American Heart Association is a treasure trove of information, with heart-healthy recipes, articles, and online communities where you can connect with other survivors. For your loved ones, the National Family Caregiver Support Program can provide resources and support for them as they help you on this journey. Remember, your recovery impacts your entire family, and they need support too. Now, let's talk about your daily playbook for success. The first rule is medication adherence. I need to be very direct about this. Taking your prescribed medications is not optional. It is not something you do only when you feel like it. These medications, the statins, the blood pressure pills, the blood thinners, are your lifelines. They are working silently in the background to prevent another heart attack. The single best tool for this is a simple weekly pill organizer. You can get one at any pharmacy. At the beginning of each week, sit down and fill it. This simple act prevents missed doses or accidental double doses. Link taking your pills to a habit you already have. When you pour your morning coffee, take your morning pills. When you brush your teeth before bed, take your evening pills. Make it automatic. Next is your commitment to follow-up care. These regular appointments with your doctors are not just for prescription refills. They are your chance to check in, report any new symptoms, and ask questions. Go to these appointments prepared. For a week beforehand, jot down your home blood pressure readings. Write down any questions that pop into your head. This turns the appointment from a passive experience into an active collaboration in your own health. The goal is to build routines that make healthy choices the easy choices. We want your daily walk, your healthy meals, and your medication schedule to become as ingrained as brushing your teeth. When a habit becomes automatic, it no longer requires willpower, which is a finite resource. Finally, you must have an emergency plan. You and your family need to know the symptoms of a heart attack, including the less common ones, especially for women, like severe fatigue, jaw pain, or nausea. Keep a list of your medications and allergies on your refrigerator or in your wallet, and make a pact that you will call 911 without hesitation. Do not try to drive to the hospital. Do not wait an hour to see if the feeling goes away. Heart muscle that is deprived of oxygen is dying, and every single second counts. Let me tell you about George. He was 78, an avid bowler, and after his heart attack he was convinced his active life was over. He was deeply depressed. His daughter practically had to drag him to his first cardiac rehab session. But slowly, a change began. He started walking on the treadmill. He learned about his medications. Most importantly, he started talking to the other people there, sharing stories and fears. About a year after his heart attack, he sent me a video. It was him, at his favorite bowling alley surrounded by his friends, bowling a perfect strike. For George, the heart attack wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning of a stronger, smarter, and more grateful one. That is what's possible. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground together today, from the first uncertain days in the hospital to the lifelong strategies that will protect your precious health for years to come. The path forward can seem daunting, but I want to leave you with a few core truths to hold on to. If you remember nothing else, please remember these. First, recovery is a journey, not a race. Your timeline is your own. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Second, you are not just healing a muscle in your chest, you are healing your whole self. Your emotional and mental health are just as important as your physical health. And third, and most importantly, you are not walking this path alone. A dedicated team of medical professionals and a vast community of fellow survivors are out there to support you every step of the way. A heart attack is a formidable event, there is no question, but it can also be a profound teacher. It forces us to pause, to reevaluate, and to appreciate the gift of our own health in a way we may not have before. This does not have to be the end of your story. For so many of my patients, this has been the beginning of a new chapter, a smarter, stronger, and more mindful one. I have seen people make changes they never thought possible and discover a level of wellness they never thought they'd feel again. So, what is your very next step? It is not to overhaul your entire life by tomorrow. That is a recipe for feeling overwhelmed. Your next step is simply to take one small, positive action today. It might be making that phone call to your Dr. CUS office to ask for that cardiac rehab referral. It might be going for a 5-minute walk. Or it might be picking up the phone and telling a loved one how you are truly feeling, fears and all. Connection is powerful medicine. If you have found this guide helpful, I sincerely hope you'll subscribe for more practical, no-nonsense health advice to help you thrive in your senior years. And please, consider sharing a piece of your own story in the comments below. Your small victory, your piece of advice, or simply your words of encouragement could be the spark of hope that another person desperately needs to see today. Thank you for trusting me with your time. Be your own best advocate and know that you have incredible power over your health journey. I'm Dr. Robert Clark, wishing you strength and wellness.